Nice. That's one of them new Ben Franklins you count there, baby Bob.
You don't stop.
Gotta get that money.
You don't stop.
Oh man, this is how we do it. East, West.
So today we're gonna talk about you being a good friend. What up, people? So today's topic is gonna be around the concept of benefit over bias. So when you're noticing something about somebody you're close to, whether it be a friend, family member, associate, business partner, spouse, whatever, you do what you want to do, but you want to be aware of whether or not you are looking for change to the benefit of something or due to your own personal bias, your own personal opinion. So sometimes it's not about what's better or what's best for the person. Sometimes it can just really be more so about your own opinion and how you view the world and your perspective or point of view. So just to start with the bottom line, a good way to know whether or not the change you're trying to make or the advice you're trying to give is a good or positive thing is look at that person and then assess whether or not what they're doing currently is working for them to their benefit in a healthy way or not. Okay, so if it's not working to their benefit at all, then sure, feel free to provide some insight or to provide some advice. But if it is working for them in an unhealthy way, you want to be aware, that to be aware of, you may run into some friction because in their world, it's working, but you see that it's working for them in an unhealthy way or in a toxic way or in a way that will result, in them burning a lot of bridges or creating a bunch of enemies or having a actual physical health problem, in the future, depending on what the situation or scenario is. But for the third one, if you see it working for them in a healthy way, and when I say healthy way, they're not bringing harm to themselves, they're not bringing harm to others, they're not causing any conflict or tangible conflict or pain to the environment, to themselves, to other people, then it could be a situation where you're operating more in a biased place versus a benefit place. So to dig a little bit deeper into, I guess the concept of this is when you see somebody, when they're doing something that you don't necessarily agree with or you don't necessarily like, you have to kind of take a look again at the bottom line and then make your decision about whether or not you should or need to step in and I guess interject your 2 cents onto their situation or onto their behavior, etc. I think the easiest example to use that can be like, Googled or researched or just whatever, something in recent time today, which has been televised on TV in regards to the Last Dance documentary with Michael Jordan and the Bulls and all that. So when you look at a controversial figure like Dennis Rodman, right? He did a bunch of shit off the wall that people didn't necessarily agree with or some people didn't necessarily like, or he was pretty against the grain. And some of those things were in a very unhealthy way for himself and, arguably for other people. But, Phil Jackson alluded to in the documentary that, a lot of times he just kind of stayed out of the way of, Dennis Rodman's personal life, because when he was on the basketball court, he was 110% every night, nonstop, without fault. Now, after he leaves the basketball court, he's, wearing makeup and putting on the dress and drinking alcohol and going to Vegas and doing all this crazy shit that the rest of them are not doing. But then it's like he steps on the court and he's a Hall of Fame caliber basketball player without question. So, you have to kind of pause and think to yourself, do I really want to provide or tell this person to do something different with themselves or do something else when you know, they're technically getting the job done. I don't agree with everything that they do. I don't like everything that they do. Some of the shit they do and say makes me uncomfortable, you know, on a personal level in my gut. But are they really bringing harm to the situation, or do I just want to see things play out a specific way due to my bias, you know? So, you know, the opposite thing, you know, to that is you have some people who what they're doing is taking away from the bottom line, or it's altering the bottom line. So, you know, their behavior, their actions, their words, their demeanor, their body language, whatever, etc., is causing a negative impact on the goal or the objective that they're trying to achieve for themselves, or that the group is trying to achieve together. And their energy and their perspective is taking away from the progression of whatever that goal is. So then now, you know, you want to see that, be uncomfortable with it, assess it, and go, okay, I need to say something to this person because, you know, what they're doing has a negative, direct, you know, tangible effect on the rest of us, or maybe just on themselves if you're coming from a place of being an authority figure or a parent, or, you know, even a friend. You know, if you're just seeing your friend, you know, do something crazy and it's like to their detriment or in a negative, unhealthy way, going to impact them in their life. But, you know, again, if it's working for them, they're not causing any harm. It's just not what you would do. It's not your preference. You know, it's not, you know, you have a different perspective, a different opinion, then more times than not, you should probably fall back and remember that we're all not the same. We're all coming from different places, and that you shouldn't try to control people's uniqueness and people's, you know, unique traits and characteristics. And, you know, you have to really tap into their personal backstory, and not just what they're doing, but why they may be doing it that way, you know, and that them doing it that way works for them and it's proven to work for them. So maybe, you know, they're not in the wrong. Maybe you're in the wrong, you know, as it relates to you wanting to step in and say something to them or make a change or tell them what they're doing and not doing and all this other crazy shit, you know. So that's about it for today. I'm gonna keep this video short, under 10 minutes. So just remember that if it's not causing any harm, but you feel like you need to say something, you're probably operating from a biased perspective. If it is causing harm and tangible negative results, then you want to step in and say something, or you feel uncomfortable with it at that point, then you're coming from a place of wanting to add benefit and change the outcome in a positive way to, you know, neutralize the negative situation. All right, cool. That's it for today. See y'all next time. Peace.